Knowify is an all-in-one project management and job costing solution for trade contractors. Using Knowify, contractors can create detailed budgets, bid prices to their clients, track all of their actual costs, and send out invoices, all from one solution. Knowify focuses on the dollars and cents of construction, how much money you're making, and how much is being spent, and what the resulting profitability is. The process starts by adding a new job, giving it a name, and selecting which client this job is for. You'll have the selection of a variety of different contract types for when it comes to billing your client, and you'll be able to set a job site address for tracking this in the field. When you're building a job, you'll start by creating a budget. The budgets can be divided into phases, each with their own material, labor, and subcontracting budget. You also have the ability to create more detailed budgets within each phase by itemizing out individual materials you'll need to purchase and labor hours that will need to be completed. This way, instead of entering a dollar figure as your budget, you can write in a list of materials that can reference a catalog with pre-built pricing, and then enter in the number of units you'll need to purchase out of each item, and Knowify will build out a material budget for you. Similarly, with labor, you can select which types of workers are going to be needed to complete this work and how many hours it'll take them. Using a budgeted rate for each type of worker, Knowify will use the information to tell you how much you'll spend on labor when you complete this phase of the job. Now that the job has a budget, we can get into bidding the job. This is where we create a proposal, and Knowify will carry over any of the information it has about the client and the project into the proposal builder. Since there's already a budget in the system, you simply need to enter in a markup percentage, and Knowify will automatically fill in the pricing for you and generate a proposal which can be sent directly to the client for a digital e-signature. Once this proposal is sent, the job will be stored as out for signature, and you'll be able to see whether or not the client has opened and reviewed this proposal yet. Then, when they sign it, it'll automatically switch itself to active, so you can start tracking the cost of the job. Now, going back to where the budget was initially created, you'll be able to start entering material costs and labor costs against this job. This way, you can see where you stand and how much you've spent versus what you initially set up as a budget. Aside from manually entering in material costs, you can also use the itemized list of materials from when you created the budget to then purchase those materials right through the system. Knowify will prompt you to fill in which vendor you plan on purchasing these materials from and pull the data from your budget into the purchase order form. This will automatically adjust the cost of your job and generate a PO document which can be emailed to the vendor right through Knowify. Once the purchase order has been created, you can also use Knowify to mark when items have been received from this purchase order, and you can log the bill directly against this purchase order in Knowify as well. This way, you can see which items are still outstanding and which ones the vendor has billed you for. And you'll also have the ability to record when this bill has been paid, so you can see what's still outstanding with each vendor and how much you owe them. All of this will update how much you've spent on materials to date, so if you check on your reporting, you'll see your current material cost to date versus the budget. Labor costs can also be tracked through Knowify through employee hours. And to make it easier, you can schedule your employees through Knowify so they know where they're submitting their hours each day. First, you'll schedule the dates of each phase of the job. This way, you can see what's planned and who needs to be scheduled on each phase as you go through the life cycle of the project. You can select a start date and the number of days it will take, and Knowify will add this to the calendar. Then, you can select who from your team is going to be working on each phase of the job, and it'll send them a scheduling notification to their phone to let them know what they're supposed to be working on. It also helps so when you're adding time, their scheduled projects show up first so they don't need to search through a list. And if foremen are entering the time on behalf of users, they can pull up the job, they'll see a list of the employees, and they can enter how many hours each of these employees submitted this day. For the jobs that are scheduled, the scheduled employees will show up first to make it easier for the foreman to know who to enter time for that day. And each of these users is associated with a loaded labor burden, so as time is tracked, it's updating your current labor cost to date, which is based on each employee's hourly rate times how many hours they worked on that day. Employees will also have the ability to check in and check out from the mobile app so you can get geolocation for all of their hours. Then, when you check on the job's current cost versus budget, you'll see the updated labor cost based off of everything that's been submitted so far. And this reporting can be broken down into a phase-by-phase basis, and each phase can be expanded into its own material or labor cost versus their budgets, so you can see where you ended up spending more or less than you expected when you initially set up the job. Then once you've tracked your cost and you're ready to communicate with the client for invoicing or change order management, you can come back to the contract, create change orders as necessary, which are also available for e-signature, and then you'll be able to create invoices based off the line items that you quoted earlier. Simply click the Invoice Now button, and you'll be prompted for a percentage of each line that you want to invoice, or you'll have the ability to do this in dollar figures and do it in lump sums of the entire contract instead of doing it on a line-by-line basis. This will generate an invoice document which could be emailed directly to the client through Knowify, and if necessary, you can set up a payment account to automatically collect ACH or credit card payment directly through the emails that are coming out through Knowify. Payments can be recorded in Knowify so you can see how much is outstanding on any invoice that was sent to date, and you'll see the remaining balance so you know how much this customer owes you. Checking on this job again, we'll be able to see the current cost and revenue report on this date and the resulting profitability. This reporting isn't only available on a job-by-job basis, but Knowify also has a variety of reports and dashboards so you can get an overview of where you stand on all of your jobs at the same time, to make sure that you're maximizing your profit and efficiency across all of your jobs.